Hello and welcome to the FMCC's World FM Day celebration. This is our webinar, Technology and Sustainability, a South American Perspective, presented by Julian Albinati. Next slide, please. I do want to let everyone know that they have been muted for audio quality and that this webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the question box on your control panel. We'll review them during the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar. Next slide. And the next slide. There we go. The FMCC does like to make everyone aware, as the FMC is a council, we do have other councils and communities. We like to let everyone be aware. And also, and who is the FMCC? This is our vision and our mission. And here we are. Next slide, please. And the FMCC provides many services to the FM community, such as Ask the Expert, Find a Consultant, and on that Find a Consultant, if you go to the ifmaengage.org, under the directory, you can also find the FM Consultants directory. So if you are in need of a consultant, you can search out all members of the FMCC there. And also we have located speaker and online educational resources, and you can find out more at the FMCC website, fmcc.ifma.org. Next slide, please. And as always, we'd like to thank our sponsors for helping make this possible, ISS and Opacet Security Consulting. Next slide, please. And here we go. Like I said, this is being recorded, and if you have any questions, please feel free and type them into the question box. Next slide, please. And thank you for being here for our World FM Day celebration. I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, Ricardo Crepaldi. Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joshua. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon for all in our global session. Today I will be the moderator. I'm a chair of IFMA FCC Strategical and Tactical Action Group. We call it the STAG. And we are talking today. We have the presenters. Presenter today will be Julian Albinati from Argentina. Julian Albinati is not live now. There's a recorder section. And then, as Joshua said in moments ago, please type your questions in the box in the GoToWebinar control panel in your screen, and type your questions that we are sending to Julian and return to you or put inside our website. We are starting now with the recorder session. Thank you very much.
Hello, welcome to this Technology and Sustainability presentation. My name is Julian Albinati. I'm based in Buenos Aires and I have 20 years experience in facilities management consultancy, mostly in Latin America. This is a recorded presentation. It will be focused on South American perspective of this subject. First, we will take a look at technology in facility management. Then we will focus on new challenges from sustainability and from its impact in culture. And then we will approach 3 conclusions. One thing that we usually find is that we still have important facility managers. This is professionals working for important sites, working only with desktop applications. These desktop applications usually include the office suites like word processing tools, spreadsheets, presentation graphics, and also the email and calendar tools. As these are mature and tested tools, they became flexible, powerful, and somehow universal. However, because of the way in which the information is produced, they might not be considered that reliable. They might not be promoting the collaboration that we expect. And they, in many cases, they do not provide the added value that we need to make decisions. On the other hand, we have the hyper-connected user who has access to mobile, social, the internet, and physical channels, who's getting used to real-time and contextualized experiences, expects personalized services, works as employees, but also as consultants, part-time and freelance professionals, and who expect and are being used as well to work in flexible times, flexible offices, and flexible jobs. So this difference between what facility managers are doing and providing right now in these companies in South America and what the customer is expecting create a gap with three different dimensions. On one side, there's a service delivery gap, there's also a technology gap, and finally a cultural gap. Let's look first at some tools that could help to solve this service delivery gap. In this slide, I included some what I call new best practices, which might solve this gap between what facility managers are delivering and what these hyper-connected users are expecting. This includes service level agreements, bring your own device policies, workplace innovation, assets on demand, outsourcing practices, ideas and goals such as Great Place to Work survey, training activities, and innovation activities. Regarding the technology gap, let's look in the next 3 slides. Part of this gap is solved with departmental tools, which are like software applications being used by facility managers, which include CAD and BIM applications, maps, GIS, BMS, and cloud storage. Facility managers also use the corporate tools such as ERP suites, human resource applications, request management, central applications, and also collaborative suites, which companies pick so that they allow better interactions between the different departments. And finally, there are specific facility management tools, which are more than those simple departmental tools and different from the corporate applications such as the ERPs. And there's a study from the Gartner Group which defines the scope of what they call the IWMS application. And this includes 5 different scopes. It's real estate and lease administration, project management, space and occupancy, maintenance management, and finally sustainability and energy management. So most of this gap between what facility managers offer and what this hyper-connected user is expecting is explained by these best practices in service delivery which are not being used, and by this technology not being properly used. But there's also a cultural part which I'd like to explain from a sustainability point of view in the next slide. This slide offers a systemic view of what sustainability is in our companies, at least in how we see it. First of all, it must be environmentally sustainable On the second stage, it must be economically sustainable. This includes a return over investment analysis. It must be socially sustainable from the corporate social responsibility point of view. And finally, it must respect the culture in which it is applied. We are seeing buildings that are not considering local practices, such as praying in different cultures, or taking a nap, which implies that the buildings should be closed in the midday, or rallies from people complaining, which are things that we see in South Latin America that are not always being considered. So this broad and systemic view of sustainability needs to evaluate the complete building life cycle from these different stages that we are used to know, but integrating integrating both parts, I mean the construction with the operation. So in some cases, what we find is that in this purpose of including new technologies in these new buildings with a sustainability purpose, sometimes these project teams go like shopping for these new technologies without considering this total life cycle cost. So they bring into the building technologies which at the end of the day are not the best from an operational point of view. So these technologies are well seen from the construction point of view, but problems show up in the handover process, in which the facility manager needs to receive this new building with these new technologies and needs to figure out how it's going to work, how it's going to be operated and maintained in the next years. So, working with some colleagues in this subject, we got these 10 proposals that would help these new technologies to receive a sustainable adoption from a facility management point of view. Number one is to involve the facility management team in the early stages. The second is to align these construction contracts so that they include the information and the practices that we need. I mean, we need the warranties to be properly aligned. We need to receive manuals and to receive specific routines, which is something that is not usual in South Latin America. Number three is to provide proper support facilities, which includes workshops, warehouses, accesses, freight elevators, and locker rooms. I mean, all the infrastructure which is required so that this building is operated and maintained and cleaned as required. Number four, to include as well appropriate technologies. This means that the BMS should offer remote control or at least automatic notifications, peak shaving functionalities, and so on. I mean, usually the buildings allowed, it can do this, but it's not configured so that it works that way. And this is something that we need to solve in the first months. And on this list, the fifth is to develop a building commissioning with integrated tests so that we can make sure that the different systems in the building work properly together. On the other hand, sometimes the building does not receive an appropriate operational expense. This means that when it's built, there's a business case developed, and it does not include all the efforts that that building will need to receive on the operational, on the facility management side of the equation. Number seven is we need to add sustainability terms to our contractors. I mean, we sometimes receive a sustainable building with sustainable technologies, but it's the building finally is operated, maintained, and cleaned in the old-fashioned way. Number 8, we need to align our team goals so that they need to be included in your annual goals, targets, plans. Number 9, we need to know which materials were approved for these new technologies, and we need to inform them as well to our contractors. And finally, we need to train our users, our team members, and our vendors. So, here are 3 conclusions that I'd like to share with you. Number 1 is that there is a service gap, and it's caused by market evolution, and these technologies will change, and at least in this region, were not properly included into our management systems yet. Number 2 is that we do have an opportunity to include technology and sustainable technologies in our buildings and in our management systems. And the third one is that we must remember that all these technologies must be aligned with our culture and must be evaluated in the complete building life cycle. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and I expect that this recorded session was good for you, and that you enjoyed the other. Thank you.
Great, and as a reminder, if you do have any questions, feel free and type them into the question box. And then also you see there is Julian's contact information. So also probably feel free and reach out to him directly.
Can you take a live question?
Sure. Ricardo?
Yes.
You want to take a live question?
Ricardo, Julian makes the point that really in South America, there's rich opportunity to make gains with technology, even without large expense. How is this, what are the ways that this can happen in terms of organizations, education? Where are the active places, the hot spots, if you will?
Yes, we have two points of view of this this question that Julian told. One question is that nowadays we have normally all FM working by persons, number of the person, number of engineer, number of the cleaners, number of the etc. No by performance. This is a point that one point that Julian told about technology. In South America and in Latin America, we are not not to be very organized in facility service. What I try to explain is that in some normally for our culture we run the tasks, and if the contract asks something, we do this too. But when the contract company talk about one specific task, we make a prioritization of this task in order of others in the normal task days. And then what does happen? Create a lack of performance, but not so real, because the people in facilities are doing more, but more tasks with the same team, with the same subcontractor, some service provider, and then of course we have a problem. We have a problem at the end of the month. What Julian are talking in some case about in this point technology is that we don't have so much robots, so much specific machines for make some service, some automatic tools. For example, it's common in South America. You don't write request in some system. Normally, we call the facility guy and ask, oh, please change my light. My light is off. Please clean my carpet, clean my room, etc. We have a lack of some technology tools with a specific language. We have this around the world in English and other language too, but in Portuguese and in Spanish, it's so poor. This is one point. The other point is use the technology. And until nowadays, we have a poor number of, for example, vacuum cleaning robots. These small robots to clean the floor. We don't have so much. And then there is a lot of reasons. Can be the rate of the currency, local currency, and the U.S. dollars or euros, and some other points. But the key point is that the people prefer see one guy or girl cleaning their room than have a robot system that clean all the night or cleaning in different shift of etc. This is part of technology. This other part that we start only now, not all buildings, but for example, São Paulo is different. São Paulo is different because São Paulo is in Brazil is the main city in Latin America. Is the headquarters for many companies here in Latin America, and then we have a lot of lead buildings, and then many technology inside these buildings, etc. And then, but in the real scenario, this outside São Paulo, we have other capitals in other countries, as Buenos Aires, as Colombia and others. We have a poor situation that we have opportunity a lot for to put these many technologies inside the facilities activities, and then sure, it's not so it's easy to talk, but not so easy to do. But as leaders inside the FM community, we are discussing, we are talking a lot about some points. One key point is that is running more faster is the IoT, because the IoT is very cheaper. IoT, you talk sensors, small sensor, almost $5, a small sensor, a little microchip, it's $10. It's cheaper, and then this kind of IoT stuffs based on the Italian language, this Arduino. Arduino is a language, a global language for this IoT stuff, very small. It's very cheaper. This is working. It's working very well and very fast in South America. And then most part of the sensors and the microchips, etc., comes from China, because for this reason it's more cheaper. And then this area inside facilities is growing up very fast if you are looking for the whole picture.
Thank you. You covered both the openings and the closings in all three of the gaps. Thank you.
You're welcome, David.
Okay, very good. Do you want to go ahead and move to the next slide? And on this next slide, as it comes up, we just want to let you know the rest of the sessions we have planned to celebrate World FM Day. And so we're very excited about them. A lot of great sessions, especially the next one with Meredith Thatcher and Ryan. I'm sure a lot of you know Meredith Thatcher, so we're looking forward to that. And you can also find the registration links at fmcc.ifma.org. Right there on the homepage, there's a news story. Just click there, and you can find the registration links. And certainly feel free to send them out to any of your friends or business associates that you think would enjoy these webinars. And the next slide. And so in closing, we just want to thank you very, very much for attending. We want to thank Ricardo for moderating and Julian for presenting. And if you want to join Ricardo on the STAG team and helping with these presentations or other content for the council, he would love to have you volunteer, and you can reach him through the FMCC website, or his email is right there on the screen, ricardo.crepaldi23@gmail.com. Okay, next slide. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And again, I just thank everyone for attending. Have a great World FM Day. Bye-bye.